Hey, how's it going? And welcome to Whisky Wins with me, Stuart. Today we've got a 10-year-old Blair Athol from the Whisky Broker. It's 10-year-old, it's bottled at 56.5% ABV and it's matured in a red wine barrique. I'm not sure if it's been finished, it doesn't actually say on there, and when I was reading online I'm sure I read it was finished, but yeah, I should have maybe actually checked the official website. It's red wine barrique number 300870, filled on the 5th of March 2010 and bottled the 21st of April 2020. So it's natural cask strength, non-chill filtered, no added colouring. It cost, I believe, £44, possibly £50 with like posting and packaging. But yeah, I've written notes down for this and I've explored it quite a bit. Maybe just under halfway through the bottle, but it's one that's definitely shined from the start to where it is now. So like always, if I ever change my mind with a whiskey, the further I get down the bottle, I'll re-review it and we'll get back to it and actually discuss it again. But anyway, we'll get down to how I feel about this now, and we'll see if it's a whiskey win or a whiskey bin. So on the nose, there's kind of sticky cherry jam. There's like maple syrup. It's quite a sweet, kind of sticky nose. If you can describe a nose as sticky.
I'll call you sticky, cause you're sticky and you're stuck.
There's a little bit of a tangy element. I'm not sure what that is. I think overall I get a kind of tang with Blair Athol distillate. The alcohol's a little bit evident in the nose. So what we'll do is we'll add a little water to this at the end. I'll do the full breakdown of the nose to the finish without water, and then we'll add water. And we'll see what the nose reveals then, and the palate and all that, obviously. Some old, kind of dried out tobacco. It reminds me of like a pouch of like amber leaf or something, rolling tobacco that's just kind of dried out and maybe a little bit unusable, spent if you will. And also like an old leather jacket, something quite familiar with the tobacco, the leather.
I'll look really cool like if I start smoking because I didn't get along with anybody. So I started smoking. Wouldn't you know it, I did look cool.
But a really nice nose, quite a contrast from the sweet elements to the tobacco, the leather. I'm enjoying the nose, and like I said, we'll get back to it with water. The palate, dried apricot, dried cherries, dried raisins, dried fruits in general that you buy out of like a packet for baking purposes or just for filling. Dried fruit but soaked for hours in Malbec or something like that, some sort of red wine.
A half a cup.
Can I pour that?
Yeah, half a cup.
That just feels like I'm supposed to pour it.
Okay.
Is that a half?
That's about a half.
It's bursting with red wine, red fruits, juiciness. It's fantastic on the palate already. That lovely oily, lovely juicy mouthfeel. The tobacco once again is present in the palate. It's quite a consistent element to this whiskey. However, the alcohol from the nose, although it's quite present in the nose, it's well integrated in the palate, and I don't think water will be required for the palate. But like I said, we'll do it for the sake of the review. There's a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of kind of brown sugar in the palate as well. It's almost like, I don't want to say Christmas cake because it's not that kind of sherry profile. That always reminds me of sherry. It's more just a generic fruit cake. It's as if you're making a fruit cake where you've got the spices in there, you've got your dried fruit, you've got nutmeg, and you're soaking it in Malbec. The brown sugar as well is in there, maybe just a little bit of a sweetness to the fruit. And also, this tobacco element. It's like you're smoking a cigar while making a fruitcake.
After dinner, everyone ought to have a cigar.
It's lovely. It's a great palate, and the mouthfeel as well. The mouthfeel is just, it's very good. I'm not going to lie. And obviously, I'm a big Blair Athol fan, but and I could be very biased, but this is just, yeah, this is well done. The red wine ties really well together with the Blair Athol spirit. The finish. Finish is long for sure. There's something that reminds me of these salt and Chardonnay vinegar crisps, but just completely negate the salt. So maybe just Chardonnay vinegar, but it's like Chardonnay vinegar on crisps, or Chardonnay vinegar flavoured crisp, but without the salt, 'cause it's not that salty a dram, it's not that savoury. But yeah, I want to focus on that kind of Chardonnay vinegar element, which is just, it's lovely. There's cherries coated or dipped in chocolate. There's a real kind of chocolatey cocoa element. There's some oak there, a touch bitter tannins, possibly from the oak or the wine, and there's something sweet like it's just at the back. There's something sweet like raw cookie dough, and possibly infused or some cinnamon shaked on top of the raw cookie dough. We'll add a little bit of water to this. I've got a little bit here, and I want to focus on the nose, because the nose was what seemed most, I'm trying to think what the word is. Yeah, the nose was more powerful with the alcohol, whereas the palate was fine, well integrated, no need for the water really. Yeah, so the nose with water, no, I don't like it. Although the alcohol was present in the nose, without the water, it was still manageable. This is kind of, this has opened up a real abrasive, tangy element. Way too tangy, and the alcohol somewhat more evident now than it was without the water. I don't know how that's possible. If it's just maybe separated the, I don't know, some sort of chemistry, or I'm not entirely sure because I'm not clued up in that, but for some reason the water's just made the alcohol a lot more evident and pushed it to the forefront of the nose. There is maybe like maltier notes there from adding the water, a little bit more malty and a little bit of caramel or something, but I prefer this as it comes. I prefer this naked, without the water, stripped back. It's fine without any addition of that water. So we'll get down to the rating, and I think you know what it's going to be. So if you're new here, I say this every time, I rate my whiskies on 3 factors, and that's: would I buy it again, would I recommend it, and do I think it's worth it? If we get 2 to 3 of them for the whiskey, then it's a whiskey win. If we only get 1 out of 3 or less, it's a whiskey bin. I don't think I've ever had 0 out of 3 for a whiskey. But anyway, so would I buy this again? I would. Yes, I definitely would. This has been sitting sealed, and I opened it, I can't remember when I opened it now, but it's been sitting kind of open for a while, just sitting on the shelf, and I've kind of forgot about it. It was on the left of my shelf, my layout of my shelf over my dining table, right and left, and the Blair Athol section was on the left. So I kind of neglected the Blair Athol section because it was the one that I couldn't see from where I sit in the living room. I always see the right hand side. So when I'm thinking of what whiskey I want, for some reason I kind of get attracted towards the right hand side because it's the one I see. I've moved the Blair Athol onto the right hand side now, and this is going to get tanned. This is probably going to get consumed within an alarming rate, because it is really good and I am really enjoying it. If I can get a bottle again on auction for cheap, I got it at RRP, I bought it off Whisky Broker, I might actually take the punt and buy this, depending on the price. So with that in mind, the price, £44, is it worth it? Yeah, that's a no-brainer. It's £44 for a cask strength 10-year-old Blair Athol. Blair Athol isn't the most extravagant of distilleries, it's not the most popular distilleries, but God, this is good. The red wine influence as well, it's just married together, it's well constructed, and it's beautiful, and it's not going to last long at all. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. And yeah, I recommend this, you should try it. It's 3 out of 3, it's a whiskey win. I'm just loving it. I'm going to spend some time alone with the rest of this, off camera, but thanks for watching. I've been Stuart, this has been Whisky Wins. I'll see you later.